You made my life a social experiment. Why?
Welcome to African Legends and Love. Imagine a billionaire pretending to be a cleaner. Let's get into the story.
Obinna stood atop his Victoria Island penthouse, the amber Lagos sunset bleeding into the Atlantic. Below him, the city roared with a million lives. But inside his glass cage, the silence was deafening. He adjusted his cufflinks, each diamond a heavy reminder of the transactional nature of his world. Every smile he received was bought. Every hand he shook was looking for a contract. He was the Prince of Commerce, yet he felt like a ghost haunting his own kingdom. The transformation was deliberate and quiet. Obinna shed the Italian silk and donned a weathered cotton shirt and trousers. He looked in the mirror and didn't see the billionaire. He saw a man named Bina. He wanted to find something that couldn't be negotiated in a boardroom. He wanted to be seen by someone who didn't know the weight of his bank account. With a small bag of essentials, he stepped out of his private elevator and into the humid, bustling rhythm of the streets. He found work as a maintenance assistant at Street Jude's, a public clinic where the air was thick with the scent of antiseptic and resilience. That was where he saw Nadia. She moved through the crowded hallways with a quiet authority that commanded more respect than any of his board members ever had. She was a nurse who saw the humans behind the charts. When she looked at him as he mopped the floor, she didn't look down. She looked through him, as if searching for his story. Nadia worked double shifts, her eyes often lined with fatigue, but her spirit unyielding. One evening, after a particularly grueling day in the emergency ward, she slumped into a chair in the break room. She noticed Bina lingering by the door, holding 2 cups of tea. He didn't offer her a solution to the hospital's lack of funding or a ride in a limousine. He simply offered her warmth and a moment of shared silence. In that small gesture, she saw a kindness that felt rare in a city that never stopped taking. Their conversations grew like wildflowers in the cracks of the city's concrete. They sat on the clinic's back steps, watching the moonlight dance on the stagnant pools of rainwater. Nadia spoke of her dreams for the community, of the children she healed, and the system that failed them. Obinna listened, mesmerized by her passion. For the first time in years, he wasn't thinking about profit margins. He was thinking about the way the light caught the curve of her smile. Returning to his mansion each night felt like entering a tomb. Obinna sat in his vast library, surrounded by first editions and cold marble, the Bina shirt still damp with sweat. The lie was becoming a cage of its own. He loved Nadia, but he loved her as a man with nothing. He feared that if he revealed the prince, the woman who loved the hospital attendant would vanish, replaced by another person seeking a patron rather than a partner. The reality of Nadia's world hit Obinna with a new intensity. She told him about a life-saving piece of equipment the clinic couldn't afford, a cost that was less than the price of one of his sports cars. He saw the heartbreak in her eyes as she spoke of the patients they had to turn away. He had the power to fix it with a single phone call, but doing so would shatter the fragile world they had built together. He was a god among men, yet he felt utterly powerless. The secret almost broke in the bright glare of the afternoon sun. While leaving the clinic with Nadia, a black SUV pulled up, and Jide, one of Obinna's business associates, stepped out. Jide froze, his eyes widening as he recognized the billionaire in the dusty clothes of a laborer. Obinna's heart hammered against his ribs. He caught Jide's gaze and gave a subtle, sharp shake of his head, a silent command backed by the invisible weight of his true status. The truth could no longer be contained. On a night when the rain hammered against the clinic roof like 1,000 drums, Obinna took Nadia to a quiet corner of the courtyard. He told her everything: the penthouse, the prince, the weariness of the gold. He watched her face change from confusion to realization, and finally, to a cold, distant hurt. She didn't see a hero. She saw a man who had made her life a social experiment. Weeks passed before she would see him again. Obinna didn't return to his old life. Instead, He used his wealth to transform the clinic from the shadows, making it the sanctuary Nadia had always dreamed of. When they finally met again, it was in the new wing he had built. He wasn't Bina, the hospital attendant, nor was he the prince in the tuxedo. He was simply Obinna, a man trying to be worthy of her. She looked at the hospital, then at him, and finally reached out a hand. When their fingers touched, it wasn't the electric romance of their first meetings, but something steadier, an acknowledgement. "You know what the difference is," she said. "Between Bina and the prince?" He shook his head. "Bina showed up when nobody was watching. Bina sat with me in silence. Bina listened. She squeezed his hand once. I don't need a prince, Obinna. I need someone who shows up." He glanced down at his clothes, not the Italian silk, but simple cotton, worn and honest. "Then I'll keep showing up," he said quietly. "Not as Bina or the prince, but as Obinna, my real self." She laughed, really laughed, for the first time in weeks. And in that sound, he heard the possibility of forgiveness. "The night shift starts in an hour," she said, still holding his hand. "We're short-staffed in pediatrics." "I'll be there," he said. And for once, it wasn't a promise made in a boardroom. It was simply the truth.
Should Nadia forgive Obinna? What lessons did you learn from the story? Share your thoughts in the comment section. If you like this story, hit the subscription button and the notification bell so that you don't miss the next great episode. Thanks for watching.